Hi everyone, my name is Sohail Shakeri and welcome to another episode of The Social Critic. Alright, so last episode, which was our first, I talked about the media and why the media is corrupt, okay? And so in this episode, I want to talk about why our educational system is corrupt. Okay, so my job is to give holistic critiques of society, to allow for us to take a step back and say, what in the world are we chasing and why? And so we can see how we've gotten ourselves into this mess in society to begin with. Okay, so when I say mess in society, I'm talking about a few things, all right? So number one, here in the US, we're the wealthiest nation in the history of the world, right? Yet we are the unhealthiest, the sickest country in the world when looking at developed countries, okay? So all the quote-unquote first world nations, US ranks last when it comes to different health indices, autoimmune diseases, autism, just different, different health indices, obesity, all of these we rank at the bottom, okay? And so another thing is that we are so stressed. We're like the most stressed society in the developed world. In fact, maybe even in the entire world, we're the most stressed society. And so I want us to take a step back and say, how the hell did we get in this situation? Like, what is going on? Okay? So, and in relation to that, I want to talk about our educational system, all right? So a lot of us think that our educational system was designed to get us to become better human beings and to make as much money as possible for ourselves, okay? And to foster a sense of ethics and virtue, just to all in all become better human beings all around. I know, like growing up, for me in my culture and my family, education was a big deal, right? Like if we run into someone on the street, or at a family gathering, and we find out that they're a medical doctor or a PhD, then we go, oh, wow, impressive, right? And we tend to treat them with more respect than we would other people who don't have those degrees. And I want to critique that approach, because I know it's not just my family or my upbringing and my culture that has that. That permeates a lot of society, that perspective. And so, so looking back at our educational system, okay, so the educational system as it's currently constructed in the US was started in 1903, okay? So this goes back to the Rockefellers, okay? So the Rockefeller family was the richest family in the United States at the time. And John D. Rockefeller was an extremely wealthy businessman, very successful in oiling and mining, petrochemicals. So in the oil industries where he made his millions and billions. And in fact, I know at the time, his family did have over $1 billion, which is just insane when you think about it, because today we think of $1 billion as someone who's extremely wealthy. But just think, when you consider inflation and how little people made in the early 1900s, that was huge. And so the Rockefellers started our educational system. And so Rockefeller, he was the richest person in America. And did he start our educational system with our best interest in mind? Well, the answer is no, he did not. He started our educational system in order to funnel more employees and more obedient workers into the society of his constructing. Okay, so what do I mean by that? So like currently in our educational system, we focus on math, science, reading, grammar. These are the things that get the most funding in our schools, right? Like for example, STEM is a popular buzzword in education these days. Science, technology, math, and I forgot what the E stands for. Maybe it's engineering. And so in our society, education was built as it is today, like our public education system was built to create workers for the major corporations, of which Rockefeller had many. Okay, in fact, he wanted to have a society where people would funnel into being workers at these institutions, at these large corporations. And so in doing that, would people be making more money? Some would, not all. But even if they would, society would still be controlled by the owners of these corporations, okay, which were Rockefeller, his family. There were other families, the Carnegie family, others as well. And so it would maintain this system of control that he had built through wealth in the US. Okay, so today, right, people graduate, and we graduate high school, okay, and how much did we learn about finance? How much did we learn about how to manage money? Did we learn about that? How much did we learn about how to tap into our creative potential? How to tap our inner wisdom and to let it shine so that we ourselves may be nourished and that others around us would be nourished as well. Did we learn those things? Or were we more worried about what we were going to get on the next test score? Right? Testing was so emphasized, and it still is. In fact, it's become more so these days, right? Like, how many of us enjoyed going to school every day growing up? Sure as heck wasn't me. And I'm pretty sure that most of you all didn't enjoy it very much either. Well, this was because of the way that our educational system was constructed, right? If we really had an educational system that was meant to nourish us, that was meant to truly provide insight and awareness and a broader perspective around human beings and growth in our human potential, we would love it. That's something that we're all thirsty for. But it hasn't served that purpose, and even to this day it doesn't. Okay? And so I want us to understand that, even at the college and university level, we go and we study these specific topics, and we're told that we have to focus on a specific area and just specialize in that and not butt our heads into other areas. Okay, well, the ones who say that are the ones who want to control society as a whole, and they just want people to fall into these specific buckets where they could follow a specific role. And so they don't want us to look at things in the big picture.